the end of this first part of Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 to 10. And in one of those verses that just strikes me as warm and encouraging. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10 reads like this. It says, we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. So Paul, having talked about salvation not being from our works, then goes on to talk about God's work, and then goes back to talking about our works. So let's think about God's work first of all. Salvation is God working in us, created in Christ Jesus. He says we are his workmanship, his handiwork. One writer says that we are his masterpiece, or his work of art. Those are amazing descriptions of us. You probably don't feel like that. You might not feel like an art treasure, but God is at work within you, and so therefore by some definition you are. Then Paul says we are created in Christ Jesus. And in other places he's already talked about the new creation. So both of those concepts remove any idea that salvation comes from us. It's not our work, it's God's work. And all the terms that Paul uses remove any idea that we are contributing. We are raised to new life. We are liberated from slavery. We are freed from condemnation. All those things all indicate that somebody has saved us. And here is the extra one, that we are created in Christ Jesus. Now that word indicates how massive a transformation becoming a Christian actually is. It's tragic that people can just think it's about adding a little bit of religion to your life and coming to church on Sunday. That's all it's about. Well, you do come to church, but it's so much more than that. This is complete transformation, recreation. It isn't just God tidying up the edges of your life. It's about a complete reordering, renewal, and reformation. If you feel you need a new start in life, well, here's the new start of all new starts. The opportunity to build once again from the ground up. Now, actually, it should be really from the foundations up, actually, because he changes the foundations of your life. It's a completely new you he creates. I know cosmetics companies sometimes use that phrase to describe what will happen if you buy their products. You know, wear this stuff on your face and there's a completely new you. But we know, of course, that cosmetics is just about a dusting on the outside. It's not about change on the in. That's what God does. And that's why it's tragic also, actually, for Christians to accept Christ and then not go any further than that. They invite him to say, yes, I want my sins forgiven, but I don't really want you to change my life. I'm going to keep you at a distance. I'm not going to allow you in. It's a bit like asking somebody to remodel your house and you tell them they can start by tidying up the garage and then you won't let them go any further. That's not vital Christianity, to do that with God. He's in the recreation business. And he's working in your life, it says, to do something in particular. He says, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. We're not saved by our good works, but when saved, we do them. I think there's a completeness to this whole passage, verses 1 to 10. It starts with us living in sin and transgression, or walking is the word it's actually used. And we walk in the ways of the world. We walk in ways that are the ways of the devil and following our own sinful nature. But it ends with us walking in good works. Good works doesn't always have good press among Christians. It sounds like salvation by works, but in fact, when Peter wanted to describe what Jesus was like, he said he went about doing good. That's what his life was, and so are we. And Paul's description of Christians is that they do the same. And later on in the letter, he's going to talk about the thief who stops stealing but shares with others. The liar stops slandering and builds up with words. The angry person calms down, forgives, affirms. In essence, it's all about being rebuilt into the image of Jesus. That's what's happening. God's at work. God's shaping your life. He's not finished. If you're listening to me now, he's not finished. That's humbling and challenging and exciting. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride sometimes, actually, but God's at work, so be encouraged. And he's making you like Jesus, little by little, day by day. So submit to him today, and we'll find out more what he has to say tomorrow.